Class 11th, Subject Physics, 3rd chapter, Motion in a Plane. From the chapter, let us see the next type of motion, that is uniform circular motion. In short, it is written as UCM, that is uniform circular motion. When any object is moving along the circumference of a circular path, then the motion of that object is said to be circular motion. And the motion of the object with constant linear speed, that is with constant magnitude of linear velocity along a circular path, is called as uniform circular motion. The motion of an object with constant linear speed, that is with constant magnitude of linear velocity along a circular path, is called as uniform circular motion. In case of uniform circular motion, the velocity of the object is always tangential to the circular path without change in its magnitude. That is, in case of uniform circular motion, the magnitude of the linear velocity, that is tangential velocity, remains constant, and there will be change in direction of the velocity point to point. And therefore, from this figure, when any object is performing circular motion along the circumference of the circular path, then at different points like A, B, C, D, this is the tangential velocity, which is linear velocity of that particle, which will be tangent to the circle to that point. So in case of uniform circular motion, the magnitude of this velocity, that is linear speed, remains constant, but its direction will continuously change from point to point along the circumference of this circle. Then, in case of uniform circular motion, the angular velocity of that object remains constant. Now, in case of uniform circular motion, the acceleration of that object must be perpendicular to its tangential velocity. Similarly, the acceleration must be of constant magnitude, and the acceleration must be always directed towards the center of circular path, and therefore acceleration of that particle performing uniform circular motion, that is vector A, will be directed here. So it will be perpendicular to this velocity. It is perpendicular to this tangential velocity. Similarly, its magnitude will be constant, and then it will be directed towards the center of the circle along the radius. So this A will represent acceleration of that particle performing uniform circular motion. Then this acceleration A will be called as the centripetal, that is center seeking acceleration, because this acceleration A is always directed along the radius and towards the center of the circular path. Hence, this acceleration A is called as centripetal or center seeking acceleration. Then the force causing this acceleration of the particle performing uniform circular motion is called as centripetal force. So in this diagram, this vector F, which is again acting along the radius and which is directed along the direction of acceleration, that is towards the center of the circular path, is called as the centripetal force, the force acting on the particle performing uniform circular motion, which is acting along the radius and directed towards the center of the circle, is called as the centripetal force. Let us see some of the examples of the uniform circular motion. The motion of the moon around the earth, the motion of the earth around the sun. Similarly, the motion of the tip of the hands of a clock are the examples of the circular motion, that is, it will give us uniform circular motion. And now let us see some of the terms which are related with this UCM, that is uniform circular motion, and these are period, radius vector and angular speed. Period, radius vector and angular speed. Now what are these quantities? So in order to explain these terms, let us consider a particle of mass m. So here there is a particle of mass m and it is moving with uniform speed v. So here speed of the particle performing uniform circular motion will be constant and it is moving along the circular path of radius r. So r is the radius of that circular path. Then let capital T represents the period of revolution of the object. Capital T represents period of revolution of the object, that is the time taken by this particle to complete one revolution along this circular path, or to travel a distance equal to circumference of this circular path, is called as period of revolution of that object. So the time taken by the object to complete one revolution or to travel distance equal to circumference of the circle, that is 2 pi r, this time is called as the period of revolution of that object. Now we know that time will be equal to distance upon speed, because speed is equal to distance upon time, and therefore time is equal to distance covered divided by speed. Now in this case, distance covered in one revolution is equal to 2 pi r and speed is v, and therefore we can write the expression for this speed in terms of period, that is capital T, v equal to 2 pi r upon t. V equal to 2 pi r, that is circumference upon period, is equal to velocity v. Now if you consider the next term, that is during the circular motion of a object, if that object is a point object, then the position vector of the particle drawn from the center of the circle is called as radius vector r. So from this figure, this is the vector OB, which is drawn from the center of the circle to the position of the particle at any instant of time, and therefore this vector r will represent the radius vector for the position of that particle. Now in case of circular motion or uniform circular motion, each and every radius of that circular path will represent the radius vector, that is vector r. Now the magnitude of this radius vector is equal to radius of that circular path, and it is always directed away from the center of the circle. So this radius vector must be always drawn from the center of the circle to the position of the particle, that is it is always directed away from the center of the circular path. Then as the particle performing uniform circular motion, the radius vector describes equal angles in equal interval of time. So when that particle is performing uniform circular motion at that time in equal intervals of time, equal angles will be described by this radius vector. And therefore, if we consider the uniform circular motion in which in equal interval of time, equal angles will be described by the radius vector, and hence the angle described by radius vector, per unit time is called as angular velocity omega, that is omega equal to theta upon t. The angle described by radius vector per unit time is called as angular velocity, that is velocity of the particle in circular motion. Now we know that during one complete revolution, that is when the particle is initially at point A and it is revolving in anticlockwise sense, and again it comes back after one revolution to point A. At that time we can say that one revolution is completed by that point object, and therefore during one complete revolution the angle described by the radius vector will be equal to 2 pi, and time taken, that is the period, will be equal to capital T. So when that point object is performing uniform circular motion and when it completes one revolution, at that time the total angle described by the radius vector will be equal to 2 pi, and the time taken to cover a distance equal to 2 pi r, that is will be equal to capital T, and hence the angular velocity omega will be equal to angle described upon time, that is period capital T, will be equal to angle described equal to 2 pi divided by its period t. Now rearranging the terms, we can write here multiplying and dividing by radius of the circle r to this relation, we can write it as 2 pi r upon t, 2 pi r upon t divided by r. So here this 2 pi by t is multiplied and divided by this r, but this 2 pi r upon t will represent phi, and therefore we can write angular velocity omega equal to phi by r, that is omega equal to phi by r, or phi will be equal to omega r. Now the SI unit of this angular velocity omega will be given in terms of radian per second, because it is 2 pi upon t, and therefore SI unit of omega is equal to radian per second. And now let us see the next point, that is we have to obtain the expression for centripetal acceleration. That is the expression for centripetal acceleration. In order to obtain the expression for this centripetal acceleration, let us consider a particle P. Here there is a particle P which is moving along the circumference of this circle with constant angular velocity omega, that is it is performing UCM in anticlockwise direction along the circumference of a circle of radius r with constant angular velocity omega and period equal to capital T. So that particle is performing uniform circular motion along the circumference of this circle of radius r with constant angular velocity omega, and the period of revolution is equal to capital T. Let the motion of this particle P takes place in the xy plane with center of the circle lying at the origin of the coordinate system, and therefore this vector r will represent the radius vector for the position of the particle at point P. Now suppose initially that particle is at P0 along the horizontal, that is x axis. So initially that particle is at P0. After some time t, it moves from P to P0 by covering this distance equal to P0 to P. At that time, initial radius vector along OP0 will now shift towards OP, and therefore angle theta equal to omega t. Angle theta equal to omega t will be described by this radius vector in time t. And so this vector r, as it is lying in the xy plane, therefore we can resolve it into two perpendicular components, and therefore the perpendiculars are drawn from point P on x and y axis, and therefore along x axis this will be the x component of this vector r. Let it equal to rx. Similarly, this vector will represent the vertical component along y axis, that is ry. So rx and ry are x and y components of this radius vector r, that is radius vector is resolved into two perpendicular components, and therefore the x and y components of radius vector r, the x and y components of the radius vector r will be given as rx is equal to r cos theta, rx is equal to r cos theta, and ry equal to r sin theta. So from this figure, if you consider this rx, it is adjacent side to this angle theta, and therefore value of this rx will be equal to r into cos theta, as it is adjacent. Then this ry is parallel to this opposite side, and therefore as it is considered as opposite side, ry will be equal to hypotenuse into sine of this angle theta, that is r sin theta, and hence rx is equal to r cos theta and ry is equal to r sin theta. And therefore in vector notation, the radius vector r will be given as vector r is equal to, in terms of unit vectors I cap and j cap along x and y axis, we can write vector r is equal to rx I cap plus ry j cap. So that will be written as, by putting these values of rx and ry, we will get r cos theta I cap plus r sin theta j cap, and therefore we can write vector r is equal to r cos omega t I cap plus r sin omega t j cap, equation number 1. Here this theta is replaced by omega t, since theta is equal to omega t. Now this equation 1 will represent the radius vector, that is position of that particle, and therefore from this, if we differentiate this equation number 1, then we will get velocity of the particle, and therefore velocity of that particle will be given as velocity vector v equal to derivative of this vector r, that is equation number 1, that is dr by dt. Now putting the value of r, we will get d by dt of, that is derivative of r cos omega t I cap plus r sin omega t j cap. Then r is the radius of that circle, it is constant, therefore taken out of this derivative, that is r into d by dt of cos omega t I cap plus sin omega t j cap. And now it will be written as r into derivative of this cos omega t is minus omega sin omega t into this I cap. So derivative of this cos omega t is minus omega sin omega t I cap plus derivative of this sin omega t j cap is plus omega cos omega t j cap, and therefore we can write factor phi is equal to, again this omega is constant so taken out, and therefore we will get r omega, that is omega is taken common from these two, and therefore r omega into minus sin omega t I cap plus cos omega t j cap. So this equation factor phi is equal to r omega into minus sin omega t I cap plus cos omega t j cap, equation number 2. This equation will represent the velocity of that particle performing UCM. Similarly, if we differentiate this velocity, then we will get acceleration of the particle, and therefore the acceleration of the particle will be given as factor A equal to derivative of velocity, that is dv by dt. Putting value of phi again, we will get d by dt of into bracket r omega into minus sin omega t I cap plus cos omega t j cap. So here value of velocity is kept here and we have to differentiate it, and therefore we will get r omega as it is, and derivative of, that is d by dt of minus sin omega t I cap plus cos omega t j cap. Again differentiating this, we will get r omega into, now derivative of this sin omega t is omega into cos omega t, and therefore with minus sign we will get minus omega cos omega t I cap. Now derivative of this cos will be minus sign, and therefore minus omega sin omega t j cap. Then further we can write taking minus omega square only common. So here it is omega, here it is inside the omega. Taking this omega common, we will get omega square with minus sign, and therefore we can write minus omega square into r cos omega t I cap plus r sin omega t j cap. But this bracketed term, that is r cos omega t I cap plus r sin omega t j cap, according to equation 1, it is r cos omega t I cap plus r sin omega t j cap, that is the factor r, that is the position vector or displacement of that particle, and therefore acceleration will be written as factor A equal to minus omega square factor r. So this equation number 3 will represent the centripetal acceleration of that particle performing uniform circular motion. So A is equal to minus omega square r. Now if we consider the magnitude of this acceleration, then the magnitude of this acceleration will be A is equal to omega square r. From this relation it will be omega square r, that is the magnitude. It will be written as phi square by r, because omega equal to phi by r, so that omega square will be phi square by r square, but this r will get cancelled with one r from the r square, and therefore we will get A is equal to phi square by r, that will be written as omega phi. It is omega phi because phi square by r will be written as phi by r into phi. Phi by r is omega, and therefore magnitude of acceleration will be equal to omega phi. Now the centripetal force which causes this acceleration will be given in the vector form as centripetal force F according to Newton's second law of motion. F is equal to ma, but A we know that it is minus omega square r, and therefore this force ma will be given as minus m omega square r minus m omega square r, equation number 2. So this represents the centripetal force acting on that particle performing uniform circular motion. Now again the magnitude of the centripetal force, the magnitude of this force will be given as F is equal to m omega square r, m omega square r, that will be equal to m phi square upon r, m phi square upon r, because phi square upon r is again nothing but the acceleration. Therefore mass into acceleration, that is m phi square upon r, will be equal to again m omega phi, m omega phi, because omega phi represents acceleration and therefore force will be equal to m omega phi. So this will be regarding the expression for the centripetal acceleration and the centripetal force.